Assalamu alaikum. Konnichiwa. Welcome to my podcast. My name is Zahra and I am a Japanese Reverted Muslim. In this podcast, I talk about my journey to Islam and life with Islam. In the previous episode, I shared my experiences in university days. Today, I'm going to talk about how I continued learning about different religions in the first half and how I met my now husband in the second half. After coming back to Japan from Australia, I was still curious about different religions and wanted to learn more. So I tried to learn mainly about Shintoism, Buddhism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Sikh. I bought a few books and searched on the internet as well to know and compare them. Before sharing what I found about each of them, I need to remind you here that this is just what 21 years old me thought at that time, so there could be a lack of understanding. And I don't have any intention to degrade any religions, and I respect them all. Also, if you notice any wrong information, please feel free to leave comments or message me. With that being said, let me share what I personally found briefly. First, Shintoism. I learned that this is the notion that there are gods everywhere in nature, like in the mountains, the sun, or the moon, or holy people, after they die, they are worshipped as gods. Next, Buddhism. I learned that it is not about God, but about Buddha. Buddha is, I believe, a holy human being who had outstanding morals and a fundamental understanding of the world. However, the more I looked into it, I noticed this conflict. In modern days, people tend to misunderstand Buddha as just like a godlike existence, because believers are supposed to try to be like Buddha, but instead, people often ask Buddha to make their wishes come true. I thought it's not what it should be in Buddhism. Another point I couldn't get was the idea of reincarnation, which means the endless circle of birth, death, and rebirth, or the circle of transmigration. I thought, then how do you explain the beginning of everything? I couldn't make sense out of it. Next, Christianity. I thought I knew about it since I went to a Christian kindergarten, but when I was reading about it, I found myself confused. Especially the Trinity part puzzled me. Like, suppose if I was a believer, should I talk to God or Jesus? Also, I came to know that there's no way to know what exactly was written in the original Bible, and now there are many versions, and each one has difference. So how do we know what Jesus really said? Next, Judaism. I just had the impression that this religion values their race or relations by blood, so I didn't feel it is welcome to convert to Judaism. But it was interesting to learn there are so many rules than I expected. Next, Sikh. Honestly, I didn't find any good information sources anywhere in Japanese. What I briefly understood was that Sikh is a religion of one God, and you can pray anywhere, anytime, and they value humanity. I couldn't have the whole picture, and I still think my understanding is very limited. Lastly, what did I find about Islam? I learned that Islam teaches people to believe in only one God, and Muhammad is the last prophet. There are 5 pillars: faith, prayer, fasting, charity, and pilgrimage, and there are 5 beliefs: God, angels, prophets, Quran, the Day of Judgment, and destiny. At this point, I didn't learn that much deep, but I liked how simple the teaching is, and I found Islam made sense to me the most. So, surprisingly, at the end, I figured that I like Islam the best of all. But I never thought I was going to convert to it. I was happy not to commit to any religion at that time, and the purpose I looked into each religion was just to satisfy my curiosity. So, the time passed. After half a year or so, I went to a fireworks festival in my hometown. My friend brought 2 of his own friends, and one of them was a Muslim man from Pakistan, who will be my husband later. Let me talk about this man. First of all, we all in the group were either local students or international students, and we had summer break, so we hung out in a group quite often for about a month until that Muslim friend left Japan. We went to multiple sightseeing spots, driving, cycling, festivals, watched a movie at home, and cooked different food together. During this time, I noticed some unique behaviors of that Muslim friend. He was unique because no matter what kind of situation he was in, the priority was always Islam. Here are some examples. When I offered him Japanese fried chicken I bought, he said, "I can't eat it," and declined it with a smile because it was not halal. To be honest, I only knew that they cannot eat pork, but had no idea there were rules for other meats such as chicken too. Next example. When we were at a park, he said he needs to pray and started praying. There's more. When we met up at a station one time, he showed up with a box of egg sandwiches, and after a few minutes he opened the box and offered it to us, saying, "I was fasting today and now I can open the fast. Would you like one?" Next. When we were at a convenience store, he asked me to check the ingredients of some ice cream. He also invited us to his place when Ramadan that year finished. He cooked beans, curry, and roti. And lastly, when we saw each other for the last time, I was going to give him a goodbye hug because I thought we were friends and that's something we should do. But he said, "Sorry, I can't hug." All those things I mentioned seemed very unusual and a little funny to me, to be honest. But I liked how consistent he was in any kind of situations, and that made me feel that he's someone trustworthy more than anyone I knew. Then he left Japan and went back to continue his degree in Europe. After some time, he asked me, "Do you want to learn about Islam?" I couldn't say anything for a few seconds, and I just froze. I have always avoided to pick any particular religion for almost my entire life. Even though I liked Islam already, I never thought it would be for me. To me, it looked like a bottomless swamp, which I wouldn't be able to come out once I step in. But after a few seconds, I said, yes. I just felt it's not right to reject anything without sincerely knowing it. I will wrap up this episode around here today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will inshallah post some related pictures on Instagram and Twitter, just like last time. Next time, inshallah, I will talk about how I learned about Islam slowly and how and why I got more attracted to it. Have a great day, guys. ありがとうございました。Assalamu alaikum.